Hello everyone, welcome to the Science Cookbook. I found out that I've been cooking scrambled eggs wrong the whole time. So what happened was I'm studying culinary science with a focus on French cuisine. And I found out about the French water bath method. And when I tried it, I thought it was fantastic. You know, the taste and the texture of the eggs is amazing actually. And I don't see myself going back to the old method. So I'm going to show you how it's done. Now, I do want to tell you that this particular technique does take some patience and skill. That's really the whole point of this video, to show you all the little ins and outs and how to make sure that it goes right. But I promise you that once you get this, right, and you try the eggs that come out through this particular technique, I think you're going to really appreciate the taste and the texture that's possible. Okay, so looking at the list of ingredients and equipment, there's actually not a lot. But one thing that you will need is a mixing bowl. This is a stainless steel mixing bowl. If you don't have one of these bowls, you can use a glass bowl, but I want to let you know that because glass is not a great conductor of heat, it's going to take longer, but it's still doable. And what you're going to do is, well, the main way that we're going to cook the eggs is that we're going to put this bowl on top of a steaming, boiling pot of water. And the steam is going to hit the metal bowl. And that's how the eggs are going to cook, right? So you'll see that in the demo that will come up right after this segment. Second, you're going to need butter. And this is a small bowl of olive oil. These are two fats that you're going to use to cook the bowl so that the eggs don't stick. To tell you the truth, the eggs will stick a little bit, but it's fine. Most of it will cook just fine. And the reason why I have this is that I'm going to use the brush to coat the olive oil into the bowl. And just for fun, I am going to put some caviar into the eggs because I like the taste, right? And the last item that we have is something that I really love to use all the time. I literally use this every time I cook something, and this is an infrared thermometer. And what it does is it reads the temperature, the surface temperature of anything that's hit by the laser. And I'm going to do a video about this because this is so useful, and I'll show you how I use it, and it's really great for temperature control. But anyways, these two items are pretty much optional. If you don't have them, it's fine. You can still cook the eggs and they'll come out great. So let's go to the actual demonstration of the cooking process and you'll see how it's done. Okay guys, so let's start the cooking process. I've put the water in the pot and I've waited until it started to boil because you do want the steam to rise up and hit the mixing bowl. So I'm going to go ahead and put the mixing bowl on top. I've got the heat, I had the heat turned up high, but now that the steam has gotten going and the bowl is kind of sealing the opening of the pot, you can turn the heat down to medium and it'll work just fine. So first we're going to put in the olive oil. And I know olive oil is a flavored oil, so sometimes people like to use a more neutral tasting oil, but for scrambled egg, I think, you know, olive oil is fine. I don't mind it at all. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of lather up the inside of the bowl so that you can make sure, you know, I think I put a little bit too much into the bowl, so I'm going to try to scoop that out. Well, these little accidents do happen. So I'm going to go ahead and lather up the side of the bowl. And now I'm going to put in some butter, right? And let it melt inside. And while it's melting, I'm going to grab my mitten and I'm going to hold the bowl this way so that I don't burn my hands. So we'll go ahead and let the butter melt. Okay. Ooh. Oh boy. Okay. The butter doesn't have to melt completely for you to start the cooking process, so let's go ahead and put the eggs inside. Okay. And I'm going to take a whisk, and break the yolk. And the thing that you need to know about this cooking process is that once you start the egg, you need to keep stirring it, and you can't stop, right? Because the whole point of this cooking process is that you're applying low heat evenly throughout the whole egg, and that's what creates that really soft, creamy texture that we want. Okay, so go ahead and keep mixing. All right, and remember I said that I use an infrared thermometer, so I'm going to go ahead and take a temperature reading. Okay, so one number that you'll hear me talk about constantly is 165 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's the temperature at which protein starts to cook. So the fact that we're at now we're at 156, so that's actually the temperature that we want, because now we know that the egg proteins are going to cook. And so once you reach that temperature, all you really need to do is keep mixing and mixing and mixing. And you can see that the eggs are already starting to cook. So right about here, I'm going to take a quick pause, and I'm going to go ahead and dab in a little bit, just a little tiny bit of my caviar. Like I said, I'm going to put that in there just for fun. And you can see that the eggs are really starting to cook. And we're pretty much done. This is it. This is it. So the thing about scrambled eggs is that as you get near the doneness that you want, you'll want to take it off the heat and put it on the heat. You know, that's how you control the temperature. So there it is, guys. And we're going to go ahead and plate this and give you a look at how that's done. Okay? Okay, so I went ahead and plated the scrambled eggs. And what I like to do is put them on crackers and eat them by hand. But let's talk about why I like this method so much. Oh, by the way, first of all, don't be freaked out by the slightly blue color or green color in the eggs. That comes from the caviar. But anyway, so the reason why I like the French water bath method is that if you look at the eggs, and I'm not sure if it's really obvious in this video, but you can see that it's cooked throughout and yet it's wet and moist at the same time. That's the difference between this method and the American method, where sometimes you get this dry, rubbery taste. So go ahead and try this recipe. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the comment section, and I'll do my best to answer them. But I think once you try the taste of these eggs, I think you'll like them.